Welcome back to Shizzy Unchained, the show where I cover the sector of crypto and AI, and that sector is BitTensor TAO. Lately, the TAO token has been falling off a cliff, and that's mainly because of what happened with the Covenant dumping their tokens and calling the ecosystem centralized, when in reality, the only thing centralized is the Discord, and that's kind of what they were crying about in the first place. BitTensor uses mining system very similar to what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin does proof of work. BitTensor does proof of intelligence. So all the miners are doing something different depending on the subnet and what the subnet needs to kind of move forward, right? So the subnet kind of picks the type of mining they want, and the miners are in competition to win those block rewards. And right now, we don't have a ton of miners for all these subnets, which that is how you get decentralized. But as more and more people come on, the more decentralized a lot of these subnets will get. Same way Bitcoin is, right? In the beginning, Bitcoin was very centralized. You had potentially 7 or 8 or 9 people or 9 companies that controlled, 51% of Bitcoin. With BitTensor, we need each subnet to decentralize more. And what will happen is the prices will go up a lot of these tokens. We'll get more and more people involved, and then we get more and more decentralized when it comes to the mining. So there's a lot of craziness, in my opinion, that's going to come. It's going to be fighting for these block rewards, and we are so early in the ecosystem that I think is going to really, really run. You have to remember what BitTensor subnets are. These are actual AI companies that are building. These are startups. These are not meme coins in any way. And I think that we need to understand exactly what we're investing in. So over the last couple of weeks, since what happened with Covenant and everything else, I've gotten to this gambling mindset. I was trying to get into these low cap subnets that are going to go up, and I kind of lost myself a little bit. So recently I sat down with my portfolio and I said, I really need to figure out where I need to be putting my money, putting my assets, right? My TAO, staking my TAO. And I really broke down my portfolio. I got it out of a lot of the gambling stuff. I kept some of it. Like, I still love this still. I got into some other ones as well. We're going to break down my portfolio at the end of this episode, so stay tuned for that. Really going to show you guys exactly what I'm thinking and where I'm putting my TAO, because you got to remember, when you are getting these subnet tokens, all you're really doing is staking your TAO into the subnet, and you're getting the receipt token, and that receipt token is paired with TAO, so it goes up and down against TAO. We want the receipt token to go up against TAO, so when we do sell it eventually, we're getting more BitTensor TAO, and that's the kind of investment that I want. It's the only investment I want. I just want TAO because I believe in decentralizing artificial intelligence, and this is where it's going to happen, guys. We have an amazing episode for you guys today, so without further ado, let's jump right in.
I am unchained, unchained. No masters above me, I'm breaking the frame. Just ignore and conviction in my brain. I am unchained, unchained. They wanted me silent, I turned into waves. No strings on my soul.
All right, what do you guys think of the new song? You like it? I got a new song for the outro too, so stay tuned for that. I'm just kind of experimenting. Would love to know you guys think about that. But let's kind of get into the BitTensor TAO token. The TAO token has been just dropping. We did get down to about, I think, like 230 today. We're sitting around 238 right now. Is not looking great. All right, we probably do need a couple weeks to kind of backtrack from what happened with the Covenant. So it does suck. Bitcoin had an explosive couple of days. It is going down today, but you're seeing TAO double the down. Subnet tokens are getting kind of hit hard right now too. So, but it's a good time to be accumulating subnet tokens, buying TAO and everything else. So we will see accumulating TAO and everything else. So yeah. We're going to see, in my opinion, some upward momentum soon. Maybe we go down and touch this line here again before we go up. I do think that by the end of May, we're going to be sitting around $500 with potentially a pullback before we take a real run up to all-time high. I think we do get an all-time high in TAO this year. And I do think that by the end of Q4, TAO is going to be over $1,200. That's kind of my target for the end of this year. I do think next year potentially will be over $5,000, very similar to Ethereum in 2020 and Ethereum in 2021. I do think BitTensor TAO actually gets into the top 5 tokens. I think decentralized AI is really one of the only investments right now. I mean, you're seeing in TradFi that a lot of people are getting out of SaaS and they're kind of getting into AI. Everybody wants to be a part of the next big thing, and that is artificial intelligence and decentralizing it. You're going to see upward momentum, especially when companies like Anthropic and OpenAI go public. That is when you're going to see huge momentum in a lot of these decentralized artificial intelligence tokens, because we saw that same thing happen when Meta, Facebook turned into Meta. You've seen a lot of upward momentum in the decentralized metaverses, and I do think we get that same thing in decentralized AI. So I do think we're going to run up. I want to point one thing out. So I made a video this week about this Finance Freeman guy. He posted his fib numbers, right? And it's just so bullshit some of these guys do, right? They come out and they short the token. I'm not saying he did, but they short the token and they put out targets like 140. So BitTensor is not going to 140. It's not going to go to 140. I think the low for the cycle is in at 140, 45, 150. We're not heading back there. We're not going to double bottom. There's too much that has happened over the course of the last 2 months, really showcasing a lot. We're going to get into a few of those things. One of them is Score. I'm going to get into that next. But, we have to call out these type of people, right? This is why, Shizzy Unchained, because I will. If you guys need me to come at somebody for something like this, something they deserve, I will do it, especially when this guy joined the, Telegram groups and all this stuff, pretended to be a part of the community. And then just for him to come out with this fib number crap, it's just annoying. But I think that's another reason why we're down, and people are seeing stuff on the chart and saying, oh, BitTensor's chart looks like it's going down, and then you had a bunch of them all together. In my opinion, it's just all nonsense. But let's jump into the token prices. A lot of people don't like talking prices. I do. I very much enjoy talking about prices, because this is how we're going to see a lot of the people coming into the space. People coming into the space to make money. Obviously, the technology is another reason. Innovation is another reason. But in my humble opinion, I think it is prices. And seeing these prices, seeing Liam at $11, Hone at $4, Score sitting at $8.34, we're going to look back at a lot of these prices and be like, oh my God, I cannot believe that this 100x, this 1000x. And we're probably going to see a lot of that type of stuff happening in the next 2 years. I do believe this is where the best value is going to be right now, and it is BitTensor, because like I said before, these are actually startups that are building a lot. A lot of startups go to zero, so we will see a lot of these go to zero, but that 10% potentially could make and break a portfolio. I mean, it really could. So being in the right projects will definitely help, and we'll get into what I hold. But emissions is looking pretty crazy. We have Liam at 11%, Hone at 9%, Score at 8%, Ninja at 7%, Distill sitting at 4.48%. GM, which is a subnet that I was looking at, but I can't find any information on it. If you guys have any information on GM, let me know. We got Affine, Quasar, Rizai. This is the real estate one. This is awesome. Gradients, Bitcast, and a lot of other ones, Videato, and stuff like this. So we do have the emissions looking good. We have a lot of projects getting emissions now. So all the way down to about 62 different ones getting the emissions, and these ones are just not getting the emissions right now. So the emissions is new TAO coming in, and it is given to each subnet via the team, the subnet team, the validators, and the miners. And that gets put into the pools as well. So we definitely, if you have a subnet, you definitely want to get the emissions. And that's why, my portfolio is based on what the emissions are the highest there. So, but we'll see. This week is Paris Blockchain Week. I do think that, this is something that really pushed BitTensor forward this week. I think a lot of these partnerships and stuff happening because of this. People are showcasing their projects. And I think that we're going to see a lot more coming from this, a lot more partnerships in the next couple of days because of Paris Blockchain Week. I'm just glad that we're still doing these IRL events that are kind of really pushing the ecosystem forward. So, yeah, I'm going to go back and try to watch these videos, and I'll bring you guys next week what I find in them, because a lot of people are on stage talking and stuff like that. So, But we'll get into the biggest news of today, which is Score. So Score had a huge partnership with PwC. PwC, it's France's French member firm, PricewaterhouseCoopers. These guys are one of the biggest companies in the world. There's a bunch of different investors all together, and they basically control the entire economic system. They really do. They have their hands everywhere. They have so much money, and they is some of the largest investors in the world that are part of this. And what they do is they're basically here to kind of help Score really move, or Manako, which is the API for Score. And basically you go through Manako to use the Score. And what Score is doing, they're trying to connect all the cameras in the world right now. There's camera systems everywhere. What Score is trying to do is trying to connect them all. And there's people out there that kind of say this isn't good for humanity. But in reality, we're already on cameras. We're already tracked. Why not do it in a decentralized environment, in a decentralized way? And that's kind of what Score is doing. Basically, PwC France will distribute Manako's business operations world model to enterprise clients across retail. So they're really going to help them kind of push forward and push this technology with a lot of the companies that PwC already kind of helps and manages and audits and everything else. So we're going to see a lot of partnerships now with Score. And shout out to Max Score. This is somebody who's been grinding away. He's always in the public figure, and now he's probably one of the top guys since Sam is gone. And I'm really rooting for Max. I'm really rooting for Score and Manako Finance. So we'll see what happens with that. But again, this was absolutely huge. A lot of other podcasts have covered this already, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but really excited for Max, really excited for Manako and for Score. So Subnet potentially is being helped managed by some of the biggest people in finance. So really awesome to see there. The next thing here on the docket is the draft of BIT 0011 proposal. Participants can challenge subnet ownership by locking alpha stake, EMA based conviction. So this is supposed to be something that actually stopped what Sam did. So you're going to have subnet owners actually lock their stake to control the subnet, and which is going to allow other people to potentially come in and stake more than the subnet owner, and then they'll be able to control the subnet. So instead of registering and deregistering, we're going to have just people taking over subnets via lock, which benefits the holders of those tokens, which benefits everyone in that ecosystem, because we're going to have a race to lock up as much as possible to control that subnet. And obviously, this is just a proposal. There's a lot of other things in here as well, but my biggest takeaway is we're going to see people like Cons, who hold a lot of these tokens, lock them up and just have them there. And you're going to see subnet owners do this as well. And Cons talked about this a little bit. It's not going to be really for the newer subnets. This is really just for the larger ones and stuff like that. So we'll kind of see what happens going forward, but there's a lot in here, a lot to kind of go over, and I'm gonna dig into this a little bit more. But like I said, this is just a proposal. Once it gets put in there, we'll definitely take a deep dive and see what's in there. So they're probably gonna make changes to this and everything else. So, but I just love the response to what Sam did to what is happening now. So shout out to Khan, shout out to the Open Tensor Foundation and the people that are really kind of heads down building right now. So huge news from Handshake, a BitTensor operating system you talk to. Big news introducing Axiom. Let's take a listen to this. This is actually really good.
Axiom is our flagship agent that will be on demand, monitoring the whole BitTensor ecosystem. It will be rebalancing your portfolio. Everything happens inside of Axiom. It has wallet access. It has BitTensor access through different tools like AGCLI, and it knows a lot of stuff.
Nice. So basically, the agent will have access to BitTensor, will have access to your funds, and then it will have access to intelligence around BitTensor. So instead of you making those decisions on guesswork, an agent that has more data, that is less emotional and can make decisions based on data and up-to-date intelligence. And so you can go and sip your coffee and have confidence that this thing is going to be better than you, and it can work when you are chilling in Bali and relaxing
Sleeping.
or sleeping, which we both need to do more of.
Axiom is our
Yeah. So basically, they unveiled this new platform called Axiom. I wish they would have named it something else. We do have the Axiom on Solana. It's like we got to get a little bit more creative with the names, guys. But Axiom seems like it's like an open call system that's going to control your portfolio. You come here to handshake58.com/agent and you create an account like I did here. And it gives you a wallet with address, USDC, Polygon, and TAO. It does look like you'll be able to do prediction markets. It does look like you'll be able to control your TAO subnets all through this agent. You do have to potentially put an API key, so it's very similar to OpenClaw, and they are using a lot of X402, so your agent can basically don't have to do subscriptions. It can actually just use the APIs of other and just pay as it goes. You know, basically what X402 was created for by Coinbase. So you're seeing Handshake now be one of the top X402 agent companies potentially in crypto, because they're already kind of out here doing it. And I do love the aspect of giving people who are not techie an opportunity to use this open claw model and have your agent just kind of run in the background for you. Let's just say something happened with Covenant, right? When they all went down, your agent might have sold your Templar before anyone else. It might have been the quickest one there. So this is really cool by Handshake. Really happy for these guys. After hearing this news, I definitely added them to my portfolio. I think these guys are going to be doing really cool stuff. So definitely check out what they're building here, and we'll see for further updates there. We got an update from Ridges. Last week, I was a little hard on Ridges. I was basically yelling about communication, the lack of it. And they came out with an update today. And it's very simple update. And this is exactly what I was asking for. I'm not asking for the world, right? I don't need them to come out and give us complete, this is happening. No, just want something a couple times a week. And they had 4 new features on Ridgeline. If you don't know what Ridgeline is the product that is using the subnet to kind of compete against Anthropic and Claude, right? And a lot of other AI coding. So they want to be the top AI coding places out there. And that is awesome, right? Because we definitely need a competitor to that. They charge $29.99 a month, which is a lot cheaper than a lot of these other models. And they're giving you very similar results. So shout out to Ridges. I'm happy for this update. So you guys are awesome there. Hippius had some news or an update. Basically, their storage usage is at 1.41 terabytes. It's about $4 a month to store your data with them. A lot cheaper than the competitors. This is like a Filecoin competitor, but shout out to Hippius, man. Really kind of pushing forward to file storage, and we have a decentralized version of that here in BitTensor. So really awesome. I'm glad these guys are building on BitTensor, and shout out to that team there. Let's move along as well. We're going to get into my portfolio. So if you guys head over to ShizzyUnchained.com, you guys can go click the portfolio, and this will kind of break down my portfolio here. I do have to update it, but I would have it right here. Just make sure that I thought I was updated. Let's check it out. Okay, cool. It is updated now. Shizzy portfolio. I'm sitting on 26% score, 14% shoots, 13% Targon, Ninjas at 10%, Ridges at 8%, Distill at 6%. So I was being very degen last week when I was 50% Distill. Definitely regret it. Definitely lost some money there, but it really opened my eyes to really kind of understanding what I need to do better. And I think, everyone here needs to always just try to do better and just try to not getting the gambling. Crypto is very, very easily manipulated gambling. So we need to make sure that we're in the assets that we think that are going to go up. And I am still very bullish on Distill. I do love the 150% APY you're getting for just holding it and everything else. So I'm still a holder of Distill, and I'll probably leave that in there for essentially ever. Hone, which is a Templar competitor. They're building something really cool there at 6%. Beam, 5%. And then you have Nova, I'm sitting on 4%. They were all just on Mark Jeffrey's show and really got me bullish. I love watching Mark Jeffrey's podcast. So when people go on there, I end up buying the token. But I'm really excited to see what happens. And if they do, potentially find something in the medical industry or something, and this could be $1 billion company as well. So really awesome. This kind of just hold it. Right? I'm just going to hold this long term and to see if they able to do what they're trying to do. And then Handshake was at it today as well. And I think I'm going to keep this forever. I know I keep jumping around, guys, and I apologize for that. But I'm going to just try and hold this for as long as possible. I think this is going to be my portfolio going forward and hold me to that. Like, Shizzy, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? But yeah, and then we have that. So let me know what you guys think. And make sure you guys check out ShizzyUnchained.com. Join the community. We have over almost 170 people in there right now. If you guys want an easy way to get in there, I do have this Shizzy Unchained code. So if you guys, there it is right there. So you guys click that, that'll take you to the website, and then you come to the website and you'll just click the join community button, and what that'll do, that put you in the Telegram group. We have, like I said, almost 170 people in there, all talking. If you have any questions at all, those guys will 100% help you. It's really awesome. I mean, shout out to all those guys, Greg, John, everyone who's just in there every single day, TAO Outsider, and so many more of you guys. Really appreciate you guys grinding with me and being a part of that. If I missed your name, it's not because you're not communicating. It's because, lack of brain power. And this week's been tough. It's been a tough week for BitTensor. It's been a tough week for anyone in the ecosystem. Downward momentum does not help your ego. Right? So, but that's our show, guys. I have a new outro. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. But until Monday, peace.
Shizzy Unchained. Hey, hey, yeah. Used to be box taped up, mouth on mute, heart face out. Now walk like make that cake to my feet, I break that down. Talk to the you built for this. Scars on my soul, turn limitless. Locked in the empty. Now every you can on my hit. They say down on the when I first came. They said pipe down, anthems on the walls. On the floor, was up, I rebuilt it all. If I stumble on the way, still refuse to fall. Shizzy Unchained. They wanted me quiet. I stepped that